Anna Freud's career began with a training analysis that would be impossible in clinical practice today. As a young woman, she was psychoanalyzed by her own father, the founder of the movement, Sigmund Freud. Classical psychoanalysis was built around the adult mind. Sigmund's work focused almost exclusively on the id, the primal, unconscious biological drives pushing up from the darkest parts of the human psyche. But when early analysts tried to apply these methods to children, the results were thin. Children generally lack the maturity and the internal motivation to sit on a therapist's couch and engage in free association. There was also a structural roadblock regarding transference. In adult therapy, patients project their unresolved childhood issues onto the analyst. Children cannot do this because their real parents are still active, controlling figures in their everyday reality. Early psychology treated children as miniature adults, but their unique dependence on their environment demanded a completely different approach to therapy. Anna Freud began to pivot away from her father's models by drawing on her own practical experience as an elementary school teacher. She shifted the theoretical focus from the unconscious drives of the id toward the active ego, the conscious part of the mind that tries to adapt, organize, and defend itself against the outside world. This led to her methodology known as the double approach. It integrated internal psychoanalytic theory with the direct observation of children. Analysts observed nurseries, tracking feeding, toilet training, and play to test psychological assumptions with real-time data. By checking theoretical claims against observable behavior, Anna Freud moved child psychoanalysis away from an abstract philosophy toward a discipline that could test its hypotheses against real-world data. Anna Freud viewed the ego as a psychological immune system. When facing anxiety, the ego deploys defense mechanisms. For instance, rationalization creates a logical excuse for behavior driven by an unconscious motive. There is also projection, avoiding hostile feelings by attributing them to someone else. This focus on the ego's development put Anna at odds with other major theorists, particularly Melanie Klein, who led the object relations school. Klein believed that infants possess a primitive, terrifying moral compass from birth. Anna argued that the superego was weak in early childhood, meaning children rely on their actual parents for moral boundaries until much later. These everyday defenses suggest the mind is not just a passive victim of its instincts, but an active architect of its own survival. This architecture is most visible when the mind handles extreme fear, leading to one of Anna's most significant observations, the mechanism of identification with the aggressor. When a child is terrified of a frightening person, they may transform fear into safety by unconsciously adopting the aggressor's exact traits, mannerisms, or hostility. By becoming the aggressor, the victim psychologically turns their own passivity into activity and their victimhood into a sense of power. This psychoanalytic concept provided the foundational logic for the modern understanding of Stockholm Syndrome and traumatic entrapment. In 1938, the rise of fascism forced the Freud family to flee Vienna. After a brief arrest by the Gestapo, Anna and her father escapes to London, arriving just before the start of World War II. The Blitz left thousands of children homeless and traumatized. To treat them, Anna established the Hampstead War Nurseries. These nurseries served as the ultimate test environment for the double approach. Anna and her staff utilized their theories to decode the extreme behaviors of traumatized orphans, observing identification with the aggressor in real time among children trying to survive the loss of their families. They also identified altruistic surrender, where children would repress their own needs for comfort, instead fulfilling those needs vicariously by obsessively caring for other children. The war demonstrated that behaviors often labeled as pathology were frequently the ego's resilient attempts to survive unthinkable circumstances. The data gathered during the war allowed Anna to map developmental lines, a framework to assess a child's maturity based on their normal progression toward independence. This work shifted the discipline away from using adult models of neuroses to diagnose children. The institutions she founded, including the Anna Freud Center, continue to train generations of child analysts and educators today. By stepping out of her father's shadow and anchoring deep theory to direct observation, Anna Freud provided a new map for the child's mind, showing that the ego is an active participant in a child's survival and growth.